Going down. It's going down. It is going down. You got me today, right? It is. We got issues time. It is time. I know you look forward to this time every single day, Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. We got issues with Katrina Harris Earl, your girlfriend, with your girlfriend, Lady Chrisette Ellis, with your girlfriend, Gloria Mayfield Banks, with your girlfriend, Sabrina Go Monday. You know that messy one. You know, we got crazy, we got lazy, we are amazing together. And the other thing we do is we own who we are, get excited. And so I just claim, techie, a little bit crazy, a little bit. I got quite a few whys, but today is gonna be is going to be an amazing show. Thanks for tuning into We Got Issues. We are so grateful to our team that helps us look good in the background, sound good. And we're grateful to you for tuning in every single day. Today's show, I'm just telling you right now, can save a life that should be well lived and is challenged. We're going to be talking about human trafficking today, you guys. There are over 40 million victims of human trafficking globally today. 25% are children, and we're going to be talking about it. You have got to share this show. You've got to tag your girlfriends. And most importantly, we're going to raise awareness. This was an important topic to talk about at International Women's History Month because it is real. And I just continue to say, if women ruled the world, we could solve all the world's problems this month, like for real. Okay. So there's so much important things going on in the world. We need to talk about them all. And today we're leaning in really deeply, talking about human trafficking and our guest story. I have to say in advance before we bring her in that this is not a story to have your children listening in. So I'm going to do just like they do on the TV when they say get in an environment where you can listen and make sure that kids are not listening in, because as she said, God has given her a directive to not sanitize the story. And so it will not be sanitized today. We got issues and we're going to talk about them. So I'm checking in with my girlfriends. Lady Chrisette, I want that shirt. I know you said you like my shirt, but I like your shirt too. Okay, what's it say? What's your shirt say for the radio audience?
Okay, it says you are known, you're loved, you're worthy, you're chosen, you are enough. And you know what? The best part is what it says on the back.
OMG. Let's see. we see your we see we see your chair, okay? Jesus has my back. Jesus has my back. I love it. I love it.
Yes. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you, Kiara always gets on me. She's like, Mom, you are a sucker for Instagram. I see all of these t-shirts on Instagram. The models look so great. I love what they say, but sometimes you taking a chance by ordering stuff off of Instagram. Y'all saw my post about that wig I ordered. That's another whole talk show. But I saw this t-shirt and it was different ones. And I was like, oh, I absolutely loved it. I mean, it has the cross on
that's
the
nice.
side. I mean, it was just a very funky t-shirt. I like the words, so I ordered it. And I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling loved, known, worthy. I'm feeling all of that today. So it's a great day.
Up. It's almost
the birthday girl is almost my birthday. And you know what, you guys, my daughter-in-law, Angelica, and that might be one of the reasons I just really love her, is her birthday is on Friday, 3 days before my birthday.
Wow.
3 days before. And I told Buddy, I know you got a wife, but you bet not forget your mama. Okay?
Bet not.
You bet not
forget your mama. At the same time.
Okay?
Absolutely. Neck roll and everything.
Right.
How you doing, Gloria? How you doing?
Oh, you know what? Let me tell you something, okay? When we started a year ago, we had to keep up with Chrisette's necklaces. Now we got to keep up with her shirt. Lord. I mean, for real. How are we going to keep up, Katrina? How are we going to keep up? The pressure is on, y'all. They talking about it in the chat. They talking about it in the show. She turns around and we bust out laughing, y'all, for real. This is Gloria Mayfield Banks. And when I tell you, I left Cartagena. It was 89 degrees. I was coming back to Boston, Baltimore area. I was going to be happy, y'all. I made up my mind to be happy. So make up your mind to be happy so you can be happy. So we get here in the middle of the night. Delay. Nobody's complaining. We got here safe. I said some people got on a plane today and didn't get off, so I was not complaining. We got in here about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Not a problem. Then I woke up this morning. Of course, I got to do this, got to do that. So I was headed over to my office, which is outside my house. And so I put on my Uggs and I put on my big old coat because everybody talking about how cold it is. I went outside. I didn't even get down the front steps. I started sweating. I was like 73 degrees. I thought it was going to be freezing. Okay, I did. I thought it was going to be freezing, girl. My mother-in-law, 92 years old, walking all up and down the driveway, not even giving it another thought. Like, woohoo, I'm loving the sunshine. I'm like, what is going on in America? So, honestly, it's beautiful here in Baltimore. The light is there. I think it's going to be very interesting about the daylight savings time. We have to have a conversation about that. People who like it, people who don't. I love the longer days. I really do enjoy the longer days. So, you know, it doesn't affect my business if they change the time or whatever. So anyway, I'm good. But today I will tell you this is my first day. Huh?
No, go ahead. I was going to say of all the things that they could agree on in Washington, right, it's on daylight savings time. Who knew?
Right. Who knew? But it's a start. Maybe it's a trend. I'm like, maybe this is a trend because I have not got to watch what I'm really going to go back and watch Valdemir's speech to the Senate. I really want to see that. But I will tell you that today's the first time I've had a chance to see any kind of news on TV because in Colombia, we don't see any of it. So I'm just catching up on all of it. For me, when I see it, because I read about it, I've read about it, but when you see it, it really penetrates even further. And I was pretty penetrated already. So it's a lot to talk about. But right now, it is 73 degrees, and I still got on my Uggs. Like, so you can talk about Chris's shirt and talk about my Uggs. Somebody in the chat better say something about my Uggs. Because you know I'm an personality. Go ahead, Katrina.
My Uggs are here because when you travel from San Francisco to Chicago, you end up bringing your Chicago coat here because otherwise when you go back, you won't have one. So I just took my Uggs, I was like, and stuck them way in the back of my closet so I can make room for some flip-flops. I am ready for it. I'm ready for it. Of course, we have to give mention. Otherwise, it will really be messy up in here.
Thank you.
Sabrina Gilma Monday is not here today because you have got to watch her at Sabrina Monday on Instagram because we are cheering. Yes. She's actually in Detroit, right? She's in Detroit. Quincy Monday is going to be
here. She should be getting here soon. You know, Sabrina was supposed to be here hours ago. Last I talked to her, she said, you know how it is when you're driving, you keep remembering stuff that you need and all of that. So she should be rolling up here in about an hour or so.
Awesome. So we are going to talk and celebrate. We will be talking about that certainly even more tomorrow. But I want to just lean into this conversation, you guys. And we are going to flash the National Human Trafficking Hotline up several times. It is 888-373-7888. It's a 24/7 number. We'll also flash up the way that you can text in. We'll share that in a little bit. The definition of human trafficking. Trafficking is often referred to as a modern day slavery. According to the definition used by Homeland Security, human trafficking involves the use of force, fraud, or coercion to obtain some type of labor or commercial sex. As I said at the beginning, 40 million victims of human trafficking. 25% are children, y'all. The average age of child victims is 12 to 14 years old, with children having been rescued as young as 3 years of age. A child is sold for sex approximately 20 to 30 times per day. This is the fastest growing and second largest. I mean, I feel the tears already. It's the fastest growing and second largest criminal enterprise in the world, generating $150 billion illegal profits a year. 99 billion comes from sex exploitation. Human trafficking has surpassed illegal sales of arms. It is expected to surpass the sale of drugs. And 51% of the criminal human trafficking cases in the U.S. were sex trafficking involving children. I just want to say this: when minors are induced into the commercial sex trade, it is, of course, a federal crime. Both forms of trafficking may include crossing the border, but we are going to talk today specifically a lot about what is happening in America. What is happening in America? I'm going to bring in someone that I am blessed to call a mentee. She has come into my life, and I'm clear on why God has brought her into my life. And I said to her, today, you got 3 new aunties. Okay, just get excited. So bring her in, Dorothy. Jessica Johnson, this amazing mother of 4, married for 13 years. She's going to get your camera pop. You might have to turn your camera off, Jessica, and then turn it back on if it's a challenge. But we got you on the radio. She is heavily involved in women's ministry, homeschools her kids, and is a powerful public speaker. So Jessica, we'll get your video, but let's make sure we have your voice. So say something and let's check and make sure we hear you on the radio and on social media.
Hello, ladies. Hello, my name is Jessica.
We got
How
you,
are
Jessica.
you guys?
Excellent. And can everybody hear her on Facebook? And my husband always says, pay attention to details. I mean, honestly, even the fact that her screen is black is telling the story, because this is an example of what is taking place in America. But I'm just checking Facebook. Can you guys hear her when she says, say it one more time, Jessica, so we can make sure Facebook can hear you?
Hello, ladies. Hello, everybody. My name is Jessica. I'm from Portland, Oregon.
Excellent. They hear you, Jessica. We have 3 minutes before we go to break. And so we're going to get deep into your story after we come back. But just tell us a little bit of the happy part. Paint the picture of the life that you have right now as a victor. And then we'll talk about how you became a victim. Introduce yourself to our audience, Jessica.
My name is Jessica Johnson. I'm from Portland, Oregon. I've been married for 13 years and I have 4 beautiful children that I homeschool, and I am just loving the new life that I'm living for God.
I love it. I love it. How old were you? Because we do have a little bit of time for you to start out and just tell us the beginning of your story. How did you become a victim of sex trafficking?
Home was very dysfunctional. I was abused verbally, mentally, emotionally, and my dad was addicted to pornography, so that led him to some touching. And because of that, I got tired of the abuse, and then I ran away at 16 and ended up at the wrong place at the wrong time. And next, I'm being sexually exploited and trafficked in.
Wow. I sat and you told me this story, and it was an hour-long conversation as you went in and talked about it. And so I want you to go deep in it as we come back. And so right before we go to break, I'm going to share some more statistics, Jessica, and then Dorothy will work with you so we can get your camera straight. And when we come back from the break, you can share more of your story. But you guys, listen to this. In 2020, 10,583 situations of human trafficking were reported in the U.S. alone, 16,000 individual victims. Of course, this number is wildly underreported and drastically under-researched. We got you. Unlike other statistics you come across in your life, the following stats are living, breathing, and have a pulse. Y'all, listen to this. It's just, we have to bring awareness. A person can be sold for a sex act where a drug or a weapon is sold one time. A person is sold numerous times. So you just have to think about that. And the role that the internet plays. The average age of entry into the sex trade is 15 years old for females and even younger for males. In a study, a higher number of reported cases were found in California, New York, Texas, and Florida. But I'm going to tell you, as we look across the country, it was just surprising to see the high numbers in Nevada, maybe not so surprising, Mississippi, Florida, California, Texas. We're going to talk more about it when we come back. And Jessica is going to go in and tell us her full story. Lean in. Tag your girlfriends and call us 313-778-7600. We'll be right back. All right, all right, all right. We are back. We are back. Thank you so much. Jessica, we are back. We are back. We are back. And she is getting it together. So it is all good. This is real life, real life on the radio. We get Gloria back. We get Jessica back. And y'all, we're just talking about it and being real. Jessica, I want you to lean in and just tell us your story. And even on the break, we get somebody who comes in who is selling, online clothing, naked online clothing. That's in the chat, y'all. This is raising awareness to the fact that you have to remember everything you do online that's public, everybody is watching. And it's the same thing for our kids. We have had to block somebody even while we're on this line, probably because when you post certain things, it tags and it wakes them up and it helps them to find you. So you have to just be super aware. So Jessica, lean in and tell us your story. Tell us your story.
So I had run away at 16 because I was just absolutely fed up. When your dad tells you that he's going to hit you so hard that you're going to be seeing God that night, you only think of death. So I said, I'm better off taking my chances in the streets than staying at home. And because I'm a biracial woman, I'm half Trinidadian and half Japanese, I grew up on the Trinidadian side. And because of that, my dad was in the Marines, very narcissistic, very controlling, very, certain act a certain kind of way. And because of that, I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm gone. I'm done. I've had it. I can't take it. I ran away, ended up at the wrong place at the wrong time in Portland, Oregon. There was a place called 82nd where girls was being pimped on. They was also tricks turning with prostitutes. It was just a hot mess, but I didn't know. I was so sheltered. And because of me being sheltered, I ended up being snatched by somebody who what's calling the grooming process. They'll tell you everything. Well, what's wrong with you? And, they know when you're vulnerable. For one, when you're running away, you're susceptible to being trafficked. They know you're scared, timid, you're just very vulnerable. And because of that, they act like they care. Well, how are you? What's wrong? What's going on? They find your weaknesses and they attack it. And because of that, fear was already embedded by my dad. It was that much easier for the pimp to install fear and beat me into submission.
Wow, Jessica. And so take us into that world. How did it first happen? And talk to us about it, just more about when you were actually in that life. What was it like? What experiences? What was life like for you day to day?
So when I was 16 years old, I turned my first trick with a 45-year-old man for $700 and something. And I'll never forget it because I didn't know what to do. I was scared. I was timid. I was so sheltered that I didn't even know what a prostitute was. And it was either let this man have his way with me, or I could possibly end up dead because this is a grown man, or I'll end up still dead because this pimp is going to beat me anyway. So it was like catch-22. So eventually they would take away your basic necessities in order for you to submit. Your food, your clothes, your ID, anything that's personal, they take it away. You're isolated from the world. There's no communication. You are solely dependent on that trafficker or the pimp that's using you for his money. So me being very stubborn and feisty, I was fighting the pimp like, no, I'm not doing this. But when he beat me into submission and I'm bleeding and gushing blood and bruises from head to toe, you don't really have a choice. You're like, this is who's going to believe me? Police officers walk right by you because like, oh, you're just a hoe. That's it. They don't care. People walk by, civilians walk right by you. Oh, well, you're a prostitute. You ask for this type of ordeal. Don't even know the story. So eventually I learned what we call the game. Pimping and hoeing is called the game. The lifestyle is called the game. Why? I don't know. It's not a game. My life was in danger. So eventually I learned the streets. I learned to manipulate the tricks so I could eat because my pimp wasn't feeding me. He was using my basic necessities for me to submit. But I got smart. I'm like, okay, look, I have to figure this out or I'm going to end up dead. And that fighter in me allowed me to fight. And that's why I'm here to this day.
Wow. Wow. Jessica, I'm going to invite the girlfriends in, but I want you to tell, well, two questions. I want you to tell what was it, how do you get connected with, how does the pimp connect you? Were you working on the streets or do they bring someone to you? Were you, enslaved in a house? What was that circumstance like?
So I started off as a streetwalker. And when I was a streetwalker, the pimp would be so many feet behind me. He'll tell me, you go turn your tricks here, you go here, you go there. And they're not very far from you. And then eventually, when they feel like you know the area too well, they move you. So I go to California, all up and down California, Washington. I went to Vegas. And I'm a little kid. I don't know anything. Who am I gonna tell? So it's either they set up calls, like they meet up with the Johns or whatever in the bars, or hey, look, I got this girl, whatever. And me being a mix and what they call in a lifestyle, an exotic girl, I get paid higher than the typical Caucasian woman or African woman or Hispanic because I am Asian is what they would title me, Asian mixed girl. They would have titles for young Asian nympho, come, have whatever with her. And that's how they would advertise you. And these guys would literally come and have their way with you. So I'm 16, 17, a little girl having sexual intercourse with these grown men old enough to be my daddy, literally old enough to be my daddy. And if you don't do these men want you to do, you are susceptible to get beat, which I've had that happen, thrown out of cars at 55 miles an hour, waking up in a hospital, not knowing where I'm at, stabbed, bruised, all these things has happened to me. And it's not a game. It's not a lifestyle. It's extremely dangerous. So I've done street walking, I've done escorting, I've done the strip clubs, I've done call girls, I've done webcam, I've done everything underneath the sex working act besides pornography.
It's hard to listen to, but we know it exists. Jessica, can you talk about when you turned and you decided to take what you told me was take authority over the situation and go into prostitution from sex trafficking?
So I was trafficked from 16 to 19. And when the police had taken me back home to my dad, I didn't quite fit into his classification of lifestyle because he's an American airline captain. So what are you going to tell your friends where your daughter was at all these years?
I just want people to hear that
Right.
you just said. I want them to really hear that he is flying for a major airline right now. And
Yes.
you just can't, the fact that you were, I knew that personally, but the fact that you're willing to talk about that publicly, we can't bring that. We are girlfriends who are on a plane and you walk past and you see the captain and his job is to get you there safely. Can we just imagine that this person that we look at is human trafficking, especially even his child? So go ahead,
So
Jessica.
I was I've been raped twice, more than twice, but I say twice because I had bear child with these people that had their way with me, one by the pimp and one by a John, and I've given them a closed adoption because I couldn't handle it. When I was pregnant with the pimp's child, that's when the police took me back to my dad because of the fact that I was part of a criminal case. I was a child. So when you're a child, the state picks it up automatically. And when I was pregnant with the pimp's child, his wife told me that I need to go to a pregnant group home. and that I need to get my life situated and figured out. So because of that, that just set me off. I said, wow, once again, my dad chooses his wife, who he's not with today, over me. After what the police just told you, the trauma that I've been going through, what I have endured. But this is also supposed to be a man of God on top of it, which also shunned me away from the Lord for a while. So I said to myself, after I had this baby, I said, that's it. I'm out for vengeance. I hated men. I couldn't stand men. All I wanted to do was get them for everything they can. And I'm being honest and transparent. Wives would call me from these Johns and say, hey, I found your number in my husband's phone. And I tell them, if you want to know anything, you're going to have to either wire me or come meet me somewhere and give me some money if you want to know anything. That's how wicked I was. That's how hateful I was. So even though I was trafficked, I was so oppressed with my emotions that I became my own pimp. I prostituted myself out because I wanted the power, the control. I wanted I had the rage over men. But after that had happened for so long, I was in that life 7 years more after that. The spirits of Jezebel manifested in me to the point where I couldn't even control myself. I was on the clock, around the clock, 24/7, hitting licks. My husband now would take me to the church house and I would literally nudge him and say, are we done yet? I've got calls set up. I was in the church house setting up calls. That's how controlling and power I wanted. And eventually it was just too much, too much.
We're going to a break. This is so hard, but I want you guys to continue to listen, because the way God turns Jessica's life around lets you know, oh my gosh, she has such a strong and amazing faith. Imagine the courage it takes for her to tell her story. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be right back. Thanks for listening to We Got Issues. We are back. We are back and we're having a very real conversation. We're going to go to our caller who's on the line, 313-778-7600. It's so hard to listen to. And William Wilberforce said, "You may choose to look the other way, but you can never say again that you did not know." 55% of survivors report that they attended school at some point while being trafficked at school with our children and teachers. 44% of victims reported no one reached out and offered them help out of life, with another 26% reporting rarely ever being offered help. The What does the John look like? The background: all races, all ages, many of them, it is not uncommon for them to be married with children. A case we're very familiar with, Jeffrey Epstein's case, June 30th, 2008. He was convicted. He pleaded guilty to a state charge, one of two, for procuring for prostitution a girl below age 18. He was sentenced to 18 months in prison. While most convicted sex offenders in Florida are sent to state prison, Epstein was instead housed in a private wing of the Palm Beach County Stockade, and according to the sheriff's office, was 3.5 months allowed to leave for jail for work release for up to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. It's crazy. So I want you to continue this part of the story, and then we'll shift. There's so much more to the story about as you turned with prostitution. And then I want to talk about how your husband came in your life and what that looked like. And of course, how the Lord began to turn your life around. So finish telling us about where you were, and what life was like in prostitution. Oh, yes. Thank you. We're going to go to a caller. We're going to go to Rick, who's on the line. Rick.
Yes, thanks for letting me join the conversation. You know, she's saying a lot. A lot can be gained from it, absolutely. I had a couple of questions. One is, what suggestions for improving the public response, police response, options for captives would she suggest? Another part is, as I've looked at this and participated over the years with victims who I did make3.com, you know, the role that women play. You mentioned that grooming phase, particularly when it involves foster children or kids moving by themselves. They generally play a role in getting girls involved. I mean, if it's just introducing them to the money option, introducing them to the people, or setting them up to where they can be captive. And so I was just wondering if you had something on that. And also, the husband, I'd be interested too. Tell me about your husband and what they can write to you after those experiences. I think that'll be, fascinating. And as you look at this now, you see all of this fetish-based sexual fantasies going on. What do you think? Do you think parents need to chip? And I know it's not an option in cases of, low income or, children that run away. But, I mean, that is something to think about. It's just so much of it now. Put the chips on children. I mean, it's just that much of a business now, and it's that much of a reason for parents to be concerned. So that's
absolutely. Thank you, Rick, and you, Jessica, to comment on all of that. And we're going to pop up the National Human Trafficking Hotline number as well as the SMS number. I'm going to say it for those of you listening in. It's 888-373-7888, and it's 24/7 if you think anyone is a victim of human trafficking. I'm telling you, these phones have made a big difference in so many cases being reported. If you're at an airport or you see something, say something, and I would snap a picture too. The SMS is 233-733. You text help to 233-733. I'm passing it to you, Jessica, to answer anything you can about Rick's question. What should we do? And then tell us about your husband.
So, as sad as I hate to say this, but I was coerced even to sleep with the police officer to not go to jail. The reason why we have, and I'm just going to call it like it is, a lot of the Johns or tricks that these women see are high-end Caucasian men that's got throwaway money. Governors, DAs, lawyers, captains, law enforcement. Unfortunately, to be honest, they want to actually legalize it. So that's why they're not bringing as much awareness. I'll get into that a little bit towards the end. But that is why it is so hard to really bring the full awareness the way I want to bring it, because you have politicians and lawmakers that are involved in trafficking. The pornography industry is supposed to be what, 18 and over? They're trafficking young girls to make their videos. The people that you think you could trust, they're involved in trafficking. So it has become a point where high-end people that have money and that can pay to get things swept underneath the carpet, that's why it's so hard. And I will continue to voice my opinion and be bold and courageous until the Lord calls me home to speak on this, because I do not want, not even my worst enemies, to go through the things that I have to endure. Because once you're in, the question is, how do you escape your own prison?
Right.
Let's talk about escaping. Tell us about your husband coming into your life and how the Lord began to turn. How do you get out of this horrific life?
So when I was pregnant with my pimp's daughter, I was on a chat line, trying to secretly get back into the life because I wanted the power. My husband left his number. I was just, calling it, wanted to be friends, nothing more. I was done with men. I didn't quite was honest with him fully in the beginning about me having a situation with prostitution, because when you get to know this person for a few months and they actually get to know you for you and not some money-making machine, you don't want to tell them your darkest secrets. I mean, who's going to go around and say, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a prostitute? Like, nobody, right? So when I met him, people in Portland is kind of one of those cities where everybody kind of knows each other. And I grew up in Atlanta, so it's not like I run into the same people over and over like Portland. And because people knew who I was, because honestly, I was one of the biggest prostitutes here in Portland. People knew what I did, period. The joke was, be careful, she might sleep with your daddy or she might sleep with your uncle. That was just what it was. That's how big of a prostitute I was, because I didn't care. When I met him, people was telling him, do you know that she's a prostitute? Do you know that she makes money? Like, do you know what she does? I don't know what she's telling you. But eventually he asked, in curiosity, he asked, and I told him, yes, I do prostitute, but you're not going to do anything to stop me, because I didn't want another man telling me anything. You're not going to have that control over me. So that was my forte. He would take me to church. He would pray with me. But unfortunately, I was stuck in my ways. Like, whatever. He would take my cell phones away, my laptops. He would keep me, I don't want to say hostage, but he would keep me in my house where I wouldn't go and make money, right? Trying to get me the help that I need. And I was like, what is wrong with you? Why do you care? Why are you, all these things? Because I was so damaged that I couldn't understand when another person really cared and loved me. But don't get me wrong, he has his own issues, and everybody does. Nobody is perfect. But I have a lot of guilt because the Lord did give him a vision, and the Lord told him that I would get in trouble because I went so many years not getting in trouble with the police. That's how good I was, screening, doing things. And eventually you get reckless, you can't hustle forever. You can't be in the streets forever. You can't get that bag, and I'm talking in these terminologies because I'm pretty sure there's young people that's watching that understand these terminologies. I have to get on their level to get them to understand that that bag is not worth your life. I don't care if it's 1,500, 5,000, 10,000. That bag is not worth you being 6 feet under. It's not worth you being raped. It's not worth you being killed. None of that is money is just not worth it, period. When he told me the Lord had a vision, and he said, God wanted me to tell you that you're going to get caught and I'm going to be there with you. And I was like, what? And if, unfortunately, this happened years after, when he told it to me. It was actually before I got caught, but when he told it to me, eventually it manifested, and he was driving down, because at this time I did have a son with him, and the Lord told him to get married to me, which I thought was weird. But I'm thinking in the streets, oh, I'm married to the game. I could be married and I could do my side hustle. I could just, play double life. Don't work that way. So my husband drops off our son. He drives down there with him being misdiagnosed with diabetic, right? He's taking this metformin pill, and he drives down there, tries to stop me. I didn't tell him I was having a call, I'm just thinking I could just push him out, say, because the guy's going to think that he might be another call, right? Leaving up and go. But that wasn't the case. I ran into the police. When I ran into the police, that's when I realized, oh my gosh, now what? First of all, how did he know exactly from detail how I was going to get caught? And then instead of them taking me, they took him because he's a Black man. So I didn't get charged. I once again slipped away.
So your husband, just so they understand, your husband was coming to rescue you again out of the life, not involved, a man of God, loves the Lord. He was there coming to rescue you. The cops came and intervened, and they took him because they assumed that he was the man who was coming for the call. Because he was a Black man, did not take you, took him. I mean, I'm telling you, the story, it's unbelievable. We have a break in just a quick moment. Right before we go to break, we're going to go to a caller, Grace, and then I'm going to bring the girlfriends in, and we're going to tell your happy story. How did the Lord come in, and what did he do? Grace, just a couple moments. Can you chime in on the conversation?
Yes, I thank you for this. And I think her name is Jessica. Thank you for your testimony, your living testimony, because this is from literally the cradle to almost the grave. You have really, really told a journey, and you're supposed to be here. And I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. You're supposed to be here. If you didn't hear anything else today or in 10 years, you understand, young lady, you're supposed to be here. You have gifted many individuals about your testimony. And thank you for putting a face on it. Thank you for putting a spell on it. Thank you for putting a where it is on it. You have literally done all that you can do with your testimony. And you could please continue. Wow. Absolutely wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're supposed to be. Thank you, Grace.
And I told Jessica, this is a book, this is a movie, this is a story, and most importantly, putting us on what we can do. We're going to lean into the girlfriends because I know they have some encouragement for Jessica. Let's go to break, and we'll be right back. Stay with We Got Issues. my gosh. We're jumping right back into this conversation today. I know everyone is listening in. The human trafficking hotline is growing across the bottom. It's not just for those that are victims, but you can go there and find out how you can help, how you can donate, how you can make a difference, how you can provide women that and girls that are and boys that are coming out of this life with packages. They have the basic needs that they don't have to go to someone looking for that. Frederick Douglass said, "Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did and it never will." And you can count on the girlfriends to always bring to you issues that are important. And we are powerful women, and we have powerful men and women that listen. We're about friendship, mentorship, and leadership, and we are the ones who can turn this around, make a difference, speak truth to power, and let it not be okay. Jessica, you were talking about your husband, and so bring us up to date on where we are with that story, because it's important.
Like, what happened when they took him to the jail? Like, what happened?
So I was cited.
Uh-oh.
They took him to
Okay,
jail,
go ahead.
and he's still currently fighting for it because they're trying to make him a sex offender.
You're going. Start again. It went in and out. Just start again.
They cited me. They let me go. They took him, and they're trying to make him register as a sex offender, but there's no victim. That's not possible. They used me through the criminal procedure, but excluded me at the same time. So what I have done is, while he's fighting on that end, I have become a human trafficking advocate. I am also working on my victims advocacy so I could work in the criminal system, talking about criminal reform, what we need to do about the racial ethnic disparity that's going on in our system to people of color. I also do public speaking in my ministry to women and children and men, signifying what goes on. The Lord has also allowed me to write a book, which I'm doing, and Lord's will, I will have facilities nationwide for the victims of the women and the children, for the pimps, the traffickers, and the buyers, because it's just like going to the store. You buy your products and you have the demand and the suppliers. Well, you need to take away the people that are buying the products, because they are major in this life, and they need to be consequenced, because I'm gonna say it like it is. These Johns and traffickers, these Johns and tricks are secret pedophilers. Mm-hmm. They know the difference between a child and a grown woman. I don't care. There's no excuse. A child from 9 to 17 is not going to have their sexual, the sexuality, being confident in who they are, right? A woman is going to know her sexuality. A child isn't. There's no such thing as a child prostitute. And even if it is a grown woman, nobody or no woman grows up from a little girl saying, I want to be a prostitute. I want to be a sex worker. Right. We get addicted to the money because it comes so abundantly, but it also tears down your soul. I heard the Lord call me. The Spirit drew me in, because I wondered, how did my husband know what was going to happen before it happened, which gave me the curiosity. Is there a God? So that question went to heaven, and the Spirit drew me. And when October 12th of 2018, I got delivered, fully set on fire at a grocery store with my 3 boys. And from that day forward, I never looked back. Never looked back. I've been on fire for the Lord since. I don't think that fire is going to go out, because why would a person throw up in the toilet to drink it again? It doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. Why would I go back when I know the grace and the favor that God has upon my life? I have been set free, delivered, redeemed, restored, healed. Right. And God is going to use my boldness, my courage, so truth can be spoken amongst others, and not just those that are victimized, but the whole people, because you can be prostituted in different ways, not just sexual. You can be trafficked through your mind by being coerced. So there's different forms of being prostituted, and the Lord said that the power of tongue speaks life or death, and the truth shall set you free. Well, I'm here
Yes.
on the vengeance with Satan and said, what you have taken from me, I'm about to get back, and I'm about to set others free in the name of Jesus. All glory
I mean,
to the Heavenly Father.
Chris, it's like a shout of praise. You want to run around the room.
Right. Jessica.
It's like,
It's all of
I think
it.
you're muted, Chris.
It's all of it. It's all of it.
Jump in, girlfriends.
Oh my goodness,
Jessica, I just got to tell you, I am so absolutely thrilled with your boldness for Jesus, boldness for your story, boldness for helping people, boldness for helping men and women, your transparency, the way you deliver the story. I want you to know you're a world changer. I want you to know that over and over and over again, you are a world changer. And sometimes we don't understand the journey that we go through, but the fact that you are willing, I mean, what you've done for so many people here is let them know that no matter what their story is, it needs to be told. Because like you said, everybody has a story. Everybody has a journey. Everybody has something going on. My question to you is, when you're there and you're an advocate and you know so much more than we know, I mean, because most people don't tell you the details that you just told us here, and there's more details, but most people don't even speak to these details. When women see something, what is the thing that they should do? I mean, go beyond making a phone call. What did you see when you were young that people could have done that they didn't do?
So first and foremost, the number one sign that a female or a child is being sex trafficked is they don't communicate with you without the trafficker. They will not give you eye contact. It's called staying in pocket. You have no access to the world. So when her face is down and she's not giving you any eye contact, no ID, especially if she has no form of money, those are red flags.
Wow.
Very helpful.
Wow. Very helpful. And you can call that hotline, Chris.
Well, I know we're about to come to a close. Jessica, let me just say thank you. Thank you for your transparency. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your boldness. And you absolutely are a world changer. You know, I was just so enthralled with your story and how you told it. And I know that everything that you've gone through, you know, the Bible says that what the enemy means for evil, God has a way of turning it around for our good. And so I just know all of the things, the trials and the tribulations that you have gone through. I'm going to tell you, as it says in Job, your latter days will be better than your former days. And so I'm excited that you are absolutely going to save so many lives. So thank you, Jessica, for sharing that with We Got Issues on today. We truly appreciate you.
Absolutely. When your book is ready, we want to have you back. We want to support. We want to be a part. You're doing amazing work, Jessica, and we're praying right now. Believe it or not, y'all, her and her husband are still going through this. So I'm asking our tribe to just, through the authority we have, we are people of prayer, to believe that you will work it out. You will have the right lawyer, the right people, the right resources will come so that you and your husband can continue to live in holy matrimony. Thank you so much, Jessica, for leaning in. And tomorrow we have a great story. It'll be a happy story, okay? Another story, Chris, you got tomorrow.
Cheryl
you,
Jackson is going to be with us on tomorrow. It's going to be an exciting show. We'll see you then.
Yes, powerful show. We will see you tomorrow.